Dead by Daylight is a 4 vs 1 multiplayer survival horror game where the player takes control of either a desperate survivor or a bloodthirsty killer. Released in mid-June in 2016 by Behaviour Interactive, this game is available for the price of £14.99 on Steam, with a player base that is constantly growing. Though released recently, this game has a very polished feel in terms of graphics and gameplay, and though some aspects do still need work, I honestly don't know a single game that doesn't. So the aim of the survivors is to power up 5 of the 7 generators around the map and then proceed to open the exit gates to finally escape. Chests are also positioned around the map, which survivors can use to scavenge tools from, such as medkits, flashlights, or even toolboxes, things like that. This obviously sounds easy, however, it's the job of a player-controlled killer to find these survivors, down them, and place them on hooks to be sacrificed to this thing in the game called an entity. In the game at the moment, there are currently 5 survivors and 4 killers, each with their own honed abilities and skills. This gives each playable character a different playstyle, especially for the killer, where the survivors must each adapt to the killer's abilities, whether this be, hiding behind trees or in lockers, juking, or maybe even stunning the killer in an attempt to escape. This obviously allows for multiple different playstyles, such as a healer, a saboteur, or even, obviously, it's just someone that runs fast. Though this game is labelled as a horror, I wouldn't necessarily say it's as scary as it may seem. Unfortunately, you do play the survivor in a third-person view, which not only makes it easier to hide, it also takes away some of the horror factor in my opinion. For example, when you jump into a locker to hide from the killer, I'd much rather prefer to see through, like a small slit in the door, or in certain rooms it's pitch black, just to, to add to that realism and the horror factor. My second, and not my only other downfall, but a second downfall that really makes a big impact, I believe, is that there is no way to communicate to your teammates whilst in game without obviously the use of external communication such as TeamSpeak or Skype, that sort of thing, which makes it very difficult to actually tell your team what you're doing or what you want them to do. So if you want to be rescued from a hook, or you're telling them that you are going to rescue them from a hook, there is no way to actually show that you're going to do that, which is a bit annoying. However, I wish there was a way to do this, maybe through means such as, premeditated voice lines or whispers that the survivors can do, that the killer could perhaps hear, and this could be used to either tell your teammates what you're going to do, what you want them to do, or it could even be used to distract the killer. For example, a player could shout something, the killer would go over to where they are, because obviously they've heard this shouting, and someone else could go rescue this victim from a hook. So the matchmaking in this game is currently ranked system that works on a point system. So each action you perform in game, such as a repair of a generator, or hitting a teammate, or searching chests, that sort of thing, gives you a certain amount of points. Now at the end of each match, your points are all tallied up. If you gained enough points to pass the threshold, you gain something called a pip towards the next level, and if not, you lose one. A lot like the Hearthstone ranking, it works if you've ever played Hearthstone, where you have to get a certain amount of, say, stars to reach the next rank, and it just keeps going on like that. Obviously, in this game, rank 20 is the lowest, rank 1 is the highest, so if you understand the Hearthstone ranking, it obviously it works a lot like that. If not, it'll make much more sense once you start playing, so trust me, it's not difficult. I'm just probably not great at explaining it. But not only do you earn these pips at the end of each game, you also earn a in-game currency called blood points, and these are used to level up individual survivors and killers to gain various different items, things called offerings, and also essentially perks, all of which change the way an individual game is played in some way. However, keep in mind that only one item can be equipped at a time, and if you die as a survivor, that item will be dropped, either for another player to scavenge, or if no one picks it up, it's unfortunately lost forever. So just be careful with any rare items, because you've got a chance of never getting them back. So yeah. As I said earlier, in the current game there are 4 maps, each of which, excluding the latest DLC, which is the Asylum, contain 4 or more procedurally generated submaps. So each of these have differently placed generators, hooks and buildings, which makes each match different and more difficult each time. So each map has a key landmark and a killer shack. So an example of a key landmark would be, in one map it's an entrance to a mine shaft, in another it's an abattoir, in another one it's a foundry, that sort of thing. And the killer shack is this small building, often on the edge of a map, that can often have 2 doors and a window. That tends to how it's be. And one of these buildings on the map, as I said, it's completely random, contains the killer's basement. And now the killer's basement contains 4 indestructible, ritualistic hooks that obviously survivors can be hooked on. And if you are hooked in one of these places, good luck escaping, because there is unfortunately only one exit. So if you meet the killer going up those stairs, then you are not going to have a good time. He will probably hurt you very much. Now, the game is also very much based around sound. So, for example, when the killer is getting close to you as a survivor, your heartbeat begins to race, begins to get faster, and you can hear it. And obviously, the closer he is, the faster your heart races. It starts playing this crazy music. You get all panicky and scared because you don't know which direction he's coming from. So that is, it's quite intense when you hear him come towards you, because you've got no idea where he's coming from. All you know is getting closer. However, it's not just the survivors that can hear things. The killer is also able to hear various sounds as well, such as even if you're listening very closely, you can hear the breathing of survivors. You can hear them, say, fixing a generator, or even cries of pain from dying survivors as well, which sounds a bit morbid actually, but yeah, obviously you can hear them crying out in pain if they're limping around the map or something, just been caught in a bear trap. So yeah, but this can give away locations of survivors, and can also show the general whereabouts of a survivor. So if they accidentally fail a skill check on a generator, it'll blow up, not fully blow up, it'll just, you know, cause a few sparks, scare the survivors a bit, they'll run away, and you'll know where they are because you can obviously track them down. Whenever survivors sprint, they actually leave tracks behind, so it's probably gone off a bit topic, but it makes it a lot easier for them to track down and to kill these survivors. So thank you very much for watching. Obviously this was a brief overview and it's only a beginner's guide. However, I will be posting more Dead by Daylight tutorials. I'm hoping to post one on a survivor's guide, a beginner's survivor's guide. Obviously, I'm not that high ranks yet. I'm rank 5 killer, that's my highest. However, I hope to post some beginners guides for Dead by Daylight in terms of survivors and killers, just because I knew that I needed that extra little bit of help when I started, because there's so many things that I wish I learned, because obviously I didn't start playing with friends when I joined. But I will hopefully make a survivor guide and a killer guide, so look out for those if you're interested. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.